Beneath the flickering neon haze of our hyper-connected world, an all-seeing eye quietly sharpens its digital gaze. If you think your phone's location tracker or the camera perched on the nearest intersection is just urban decor, prepare to reconsider everything. Because you're about to discover that these guardians of convenience may be the harbingers of humanity's darkest hour. You won't learn this in mainstream news, and you definitely won't hear it in polite conversation. But behind the scenes, a vast, insatiable system is absorbing every piece of metadata it can siphon from your daily life. Why should that matter? Because artificial intelligence has taken surveillance from a slow trickle to a monsoon, drenching the world in unseen scrutiny. You might wonder, how does this brand new wave of AI meddle with my personal space? The disturbing answer is that it doesn't just record your actions, it interprets them, forms predictions, and often influences your next move. And that's just the prologue. What if every tab you open, every step you take, every second you pause to glance at a billboard is meticulously documented, not by humans, but by an invisible intelligence that grows smarter by the hour? This is the era of surveillance state 2, place where your digital footprints gather into a complex mosaic of data, painting a vivid portrait of your future habits. The question is, who's really watching, and what are they planning to do with such godlike power? Tonight, we peel back the curtain on a system so sprawling, so quietly pervasive, you'll start questioning every device, every platform, and every casual I agree click you've made. Buckle up, we're only just beginning. Let's step deeper into the labyrinth. Picture yourself clicking through a simple online form, or maybe you're accepting updated terms of service. It's seamless and convenient, almost too convenient. But behind those sleek pop-ups and carefully worded disclaimers slithers a phenomenon known as dark patterns. Designed user interfaces that trick you into revealing more than you intended or consenting to more than you realize. Why do these seemingly innocuous design choices matter? In unison with advanced AI, they can shepherd entire populations toward docility, ignorance, or even complicity. We're talking about more than just a sly tactic to keep you subscribed to a newsletter. AI-driven pattern recognition thrives on consistent user behavior. By deploying subtle manipulations like hiding an opt-out button in faint text or employing psychologically anchoring phrases, these dark patterns sculpt your decisions, ensuring you follow algorithms instead of genuine free will. The eerie part is how these manipulations merge seamlessly with data harvesting tools, funneling a torrent of personal information into corporate and governmental repositories. It's no longer just a matter of privacy, but a direct assault on the autonomy of your mind. Where might this lead if left unchecked? Imagine a world where a simple shift in design or a newly rolled out app feature can nudge an entire society toward accepting new forms of surveillance without blinking. If you believe the next stage of controlling human behavior will come from brutish force, be aware. Think again. AI doesn't need handcuffs. It has subtle illusions and predictive algorithms. And if this approach can gradually alter the psychological landscape of millions, what else could it engineer? Stay with me, because as we unravel the illusions behind these design tactics, you'll see how each gentle tug at your choices forms a link in an unbreakable chain of total oversight. Is there any way to sever that chain before it cinches around us all? But let's tear the fabric of our assumptions and confront a new frontier in AI-led oversight. Emotional surveillance. Think this is science fiction? Think again. Major tech firms are already analyzing your facial expressions through your webcam or phone camera, while advanced vocal algorithms dissect the tonal shifts in your speech patterns. They're seeking to interpret your happiness, guilt, excitement, even your hidden fears. You scroll past a disturbing headline a bit too slowly? Maybe you're morbidly curious. You linger on a friend's vacation photo, zooming in on some detail, possibly envy or longing. The AI doesn't just note your action, it calculates probable emotional states and feeds this data back into a system that claims to know you better than you know yourself. Suddenly, your recommended content shifts, your ads become more invasive, and the political news feed that greets you each morning is custom-tailored to exploit your vulnerable moods. societies can be swayed, not through direct propaganda, but by subtle expansions of emotional pressure points. Entire communities can be anesthetized into complacency, or worse, steered like cattle into adopting certain beliefs or reacting in orchestrated ways. The moment your innermost reaction is tracked, it ceases to be private, and in that transparency lies the greatest manipulative potential ever devised. Still think the notion of mind control is hyperbole? If AI can map the peaks and valleys of your psyche in real time, the old concept of Big Brother starts to look quaint. This is infiltration down to the level of heartbeat patterns and breath intervals. Brace yourself. Behind the matrix of personalization lies a blueprint for mass influence more potent than any totalitarian regime ever dared to imagine. They say history doesn't repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. In the early 20th century, the idea of being watched often meant a suspicious neighbor peeking through the curtains. Governments had to rely on a vast network of informants and labor-intensive intelligence gathering. Flash forward to the post-9/11 world, and we find advanced electronic eavesdropping, mass data sweeps, and a globally interconnected intelligence apparatus. But all of that pales next to the monstrous leap AI represents. Just as the printing press once revolutionized information flow, AI supercharges the scope and speed of data extraction, leaving older forms of surveillance looking like child's play. Yet, we don't have the same public outcry that accompanied earlier expansions of government authority. Why? Because an algorithm doesn't look like a secret police officer knocking on your door. It seems intangible, even benign. We dismiss it as just another harmless function of the modern age. Still, if we glance back at totalitarian regimes of the past, from the East German Stasi to the Soviet KGB, they would have salivated at the prospect of such precise, automated infiltration. Our forebears, at least, recognized a physical oppressor. Today, people can't lash out at lines of code they can't see. The subtlety of AI-based intrusion can turn historically blatant oppression into a stealth operation so comfortable, most won't even notice until it's too late. And that's the most chilling detail. What was once done through physical intimidation and a labyrinth of informants can now be orchestrated by lines of code, woven seamlessly into daily life. Let that soak in. Hey, historians warn us to heed the lessons of the past, but does that help when the ever-present watchers are intangible supercomputers, parsing through our personal details, building a new world order behind a sleek user interface? Perhaps the real lesson is that control always evolves, and the most dangerous form is the one you don't even see coming. Change gears for a moment. Even the most formidable system has weak spots. Data leaks, algorithmic biases, unscrupulous insiders, chinks in the armor that could unravel the entire tapestry. It's easy to see AI as monolithic, yet these cracks appear at surprising junctures. Whistleblowers who leak crucial details about predictive policing gone awry. Researchers who unearth disturbing biases embedded in facial recognition technology, citizen-led movements that expose how certain algorithms intentionally disadvantage certain demographics. Each breach of the fortress's facade reveals glimpses of a machine neither benevolent nor perfectly efficient, but chaotic and rife with errors. And that's where the tension skyrockets. Because an AI system built on flawed or biased data can perpetuate real-world injustices on a grand scale. The question is, how prepared are we to wrestle with such revelations? Look at the moment when a single leaked cache of files exposed covert programs that scanned millions of personal emails. Or that time a face recognition prototype misidentified individuals of color with alarmingly high false positive rates. The more these flaws become public, the louder the call for regulation, transparency, or outright dismantling of certain programs. But does public outcry actually shift the needle? Each time a whistle is blown, we're reminded that behind the slick veneer of technological progress lurks a system shaped by very human biases, often exploited by lopsided power structures. AI isn't a neutral observer, but an entity shaped by whoever steers it. When governments partner with private corporations to manage this technology, lines blur, accountability evaporates, and oversight becomes a joke. So, as we descend deeper into the labyrinth, keep your eyes on the cracks. They might be the only sign that somewhere, somehow, the system can still be subverted. As these cracks widen, a pressing question lingers. Is there a singular event or breakthrough that could topple Surveillance State 2? Or will it just adapt, morph, and solidify its hold? The tricky thing about AI is its unparalleled capacity to learn and evolve. It's like an omnipresent spider weaving an exponentially expanding web of data flows. Once we expose one corner, the system redirects, upgrades, and reasserts itself elsewhere. Meanwhile, the world's thirst for convenience drives further entrenchment. We yearn for faster results, smarter apps, immediate gratification. The irony is that the very smart solutions we crave feed the surveillance ecosystem. Consider how quickly we adopt new technologies. All it takes is a captivating marketing campaign and the promise of a frictionless experience. Next thing we know, we'll line up for face scans, unlocking our bank accounts, DNA analyzing apps offering personalized diets, or AI drivers orchestrating every traffic signal in our city. Each spark of progress further normalizes data surrender, blurring the lines between beneficial tools and manipulative harnesses. Imagine the day a scandal erupts, a massive data breach revealing the extent of psychological profiling used for nefarious ends. Will that be enough to halt our appetite for the next AI gadget? Or will we sigh, shrug, and keep scrolling? Human memory is short, especially in a world of viral distractions. The biggest revelations can fade overnight if overshadowed by an entertaining storyline or the next trending topic. In the end, we might see fleeting attempts at reform, a few rousing editorials, and a momentary social media storm. But does the juggernaut really slow? Or does it keep roaring forward, unstoppable, refining its dominion with every upgrade? Hold tight, that unstoppable train might just meet an immovable force. But the shape of that force, and whether it arrives too late, remains the most tantalizing mystery of all. Wait a second, let's disrupt everything you thought you knew about your data footprint. It's not just your texts, emails, or web searches feeding the AI behemoth. Ever considered your wearable fitness tracker a potential spy? Or your voice assistant through which you casually order groceries or ask for the weather? Or that innocuous e-book reader that quietly records each highlighted passage, each paused page, building a micro-profile of your thoughts and interests? Let's throw in your smart thermostat that learns your habits to optimize temperature, or your car's GPS that logs precise patterns of where you go, when, and how often. All these scattered data points, these crumbs you leave behind, funnel into the monstrous repository of Surveillance State 2. Then, advanced machine learning algorithms correlate them, weaving an unsettlingly accurate mosaic of your personality, habits, even future aspirations. This is the real engine: data harvest. The more data, the better AI can understand, or more accurately predict, and manipulate human behavior. So next time you wave off the question, why would anyone care about my daily routine? Realize that in combination, billions of such micro-routines form a tapestry of patterns that can be monetized, policed, influenced, and shaped in ways that nudge entire societies. And here's the kicker. Most of us sign away these details in labyrinthine user agreements no one reads. We might blame ignorance or convenience, but either way, it's an open invitation for big tech and state agencies to cultivate this data orchard. With each beat and blink of a status update, that orchard blossoms to be harvested, stored, and weaponized. More than privacy, it's about control, shaping the next wave of social norms, consumer behavior, even your sense of self. It's not all doom and gloom. At least not yet. Across the globe, Activists, ethical hackers, and privacy advocates are fighting to reclaim digital autonomy. They champion end-to-end encryption, decentralized networks, and privacy by design frameworks that resist infiltration. Open-source communities labor tirelessly to develop technology that fosters transparency instead of exploitation. Whistleblowers risk career, family, and freedom to pull back the curtain on unethical data scraping. Legislation in certain regions is edging closer to real accountability, albeit painfully slowly. Together, these efforts might form the building blocks of an emergent resistance, but the race is on. On one side, we have the unstoppable momentum of AI-driven data accumulation, propelled by immense financial and political power. On the other side, a fragile alliance of concerned citizens and underfunded organizations waving the banner of digital sovereignty. The question is, can the grassroots outrun an ever-evolving network of corporate and governmental behemoths? If we don't push hard enough, we risk normalizing ubiquitous surveillance to the point where our future generations can't even conceive of a private moment. We become fish who never realize they're in water. Problems loom. Data anonymization that's easily reversed, shadowy deals between corporations and security apparatuses, the lure of convenience overshadowing the craving for privacy, yet there's also an undeniable momentum behind a wave of pushback. Cryptocurrencies, zero-acknowledge proofs, and blockchain-based identities are glimpses into possible solutions. Some local governments have begun banning facial recognition for police use. These seeds of defiance, if nurtured, could undermine the foundations of surveillance state 2. If starved, they'll wither in the face of an automated onslaught. So the ball's in our court, collectively. Will we forge a renaissance of digital responsibility? Or will we foolishly fumble the opportunity to seize control over our own data streams, as the watchers continue to watch? In the end, this isn't just a story about technology. It's a warning about the architecture of power. Surveillance state 2 thrives where ignorance, complacency, and short-term gratification overshadow the value of freedom. But you've just equipped yourself with insights that most people hurriedly scroll past. So the question remains, will you let these revelations spark bold change, or will you file them away in the back of your mind, returning to your daily routine as if nothing has shifted? Secondly, we stand at the precipice of incredible breakthroughs or a never-ending nightmare. Your voice, your choices, and your habits can tip the scale. Start conversations that jolt people from digital apathy. Demand transparency from platforms and leaders. Explore open-source tools that hand some power back into your hands. And most importantly, question every frictionless innovation that promises convenience at the price of autonomy. But maybe there's something even deeper at stake. A bigger puzzle still waiting to be revealed once you leave that next comment or dive into the next rabbit hole of knowledge. Could there be an entire layer of AI-driven reality we haven't even begun to comprehend? Leave your thoughts below and let's ignite a debate that rattles the fortress. Subscribe for more explorations into the uncharted realms of tomorrow, because staying silent is no longer an option.